Man arrested for marriage proposal. A boyfriend's marriage proposal doesn't go as planned. Will this couple still get married? Or is this relationship ruined beyond repair? Find out on today's episode of Coach Ben's Case by Case. All right, let's see what we have here. She's 27 and he's 29. We have been together for 7 years. We moved in together after 2 weeks. Wow, that's pretty fast. Adopted a dog and a couple of cats. Opened a joint bank account. Met each other's families. Merged our friends into one tribe. A tribe, that's kind of funny. It has been 7 really good years. I'm happy. Well, we'll see about that. Hopefully that's true. I am not one of those people that needs to be married. Alright, so already you have me a little bit confused. What do you mean needs to be married? That's kind of strange. I don't need a ring, a ceremony, or a piece of paper to commit my life to the one person I love beyond all others. Okay, I agree with that. I'm still a little perplexed by the needs to be married part. That's kind of a little bit of an extremist feminist vibe right there, but let's see if I'm right or not. I am his wholly and completely. That isn't to say I'm against marriage, because I'm not, but getting a ring on my finger is not a priority for me. Well, it is true. You don't have to be married in order to love someone with all of your heart and soul. I'll agree with you on that. But pretty much what people consider a lifelong relationship is pretty much marriage. Normally 99.99% of people, I'd say, get married. Because that's the ideal thing to do. To put a ring on the finger, right? To put a ring on it. To solidify the relationship beyond doubt to the rest of the world. To show it with pride. Now, whether or not you choose to get married, either by the requirement of the law or whatnot, that's another story for another time. Let's see where this case is going, because right now we don't have anything really to work with other than she gives a little bit of a suspicious vibe, but she kind of justifies it a little bit. That's just what she believes. That's how she thinks. Let's see if that's going to be problematic or not. All right. Whenever I think about it, I imagine a small wedding with our parents, maybe our siblings, and the officiant barefoot on the beach. Okay, that's kind of classic. Little cliche. No fuss, nothing elaborate. Something simple that we could throw together ourselves. Then off to a place we could relax, eat, and drink without the formalities. Well, I'm kind of with you there. Doesn't have to be a great spectacle of a wedding. You're more interested in the honeymoon phase. If I had a dream wedding, it would be that or something similar. Back in July, my boyfriend was acting cagey. Oh, that's a word I haven't possibly ever heard. Cagey. Is that related to needy or controlling? You gotta elaborate a little bit on that. I knew he was up to something and trying to hide it. Okay, so a little bit elusive, a little secretive. Let's see what she means here. He is not good at trying to keep something under wraps. Okay. Maybe she's talking about surprises. He's one of those people that, even though they don't say anything, acts like they have a secret. I wasn't worried about his secret because I knew he would eventually tell me. I was thinking he was going to surprise me. That's what it sounds like. With a weekend getaway. Because I had been working long hours for a couple of months. And that's the kind of thing he does. All right, we still have nothing really to work with. It looks like the scene is set. The table is set. Let's see how this unravels. Let's see how this case tastes. Kind of interesting, I suppose. One night I arrived home from work, and his car wasn't in the driveway. The house was dark, and the front door was wide open. Okay, so the house was dark. Front door wide open. Wow, okay. Well, I mean, it is your place. You should just waltz right in, right? But let's see what happens. I sat in the street watching the house for a couple of minutes. There was no movement, no lights in the windows, nothing. I called my boyfriend 4 times, no answer. That wasn't like him. 1 missed call, sure. 4 missed calls? No. Alright, so she's scared, she's concerned. Why is the house door wide open, right? Okay, she's taking precaution. No, so I called the cops. I was still on the phone with emergency services when they arrived. Okay, well, that's understandable, right? Never can be too safe. Better safe than sorry, right? They came over to me. I gave them a rundown on what I knew, which was nothing, and they went into the house. A few minutes later, one of them came out and asked me to go in with them. They led me through the house to the back patio. I had flipped the lights on as I entered and saw that a trail of rose petals, oh boy, took us right out the back where my boyfriend, wearing a tuxedo in handcuffs, okay, was sitting at our patio table that was beautifully set for dinner. So he had a surprise for you. Well, I don't blame you for calling the cops. You called the police, law enforcement, just to be on the safe side. Now all that remains is how your boyfriend takes this. How does he take it? Now we know what happened. So we had the stage set. This is what happened. Let's go ahead and see how the boyfriend reacted, because that's going to be the key piece of all this. That's what it sounds like. It goes without saying that the surprise proposal was ruined. Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Let's see why she says that. It has been about 7 weeks since. Well, that's a long time. So, okay, almost 2 months later exactly. Okay, let's see what happens. Things are not good between us. Why? Why are things not good between you two? Almost 2 months later? I mean, this wasn't an understandable situation. Am I missing anything? I mean, let's see if the guy has issues. Or maybe she said something to cause him to shut off emotionally. As they say, emotionally unavailable. Let's see if it's justified. Whose fault really is this? I mean, it has been about 7 weeks since. Things are not good between us. Let's see how bad things are. It was a simple misunderstanding on my part. Well, that's the way I see it. Unless she's purposefully leaving something out. Something she did or said later. My boyfriend thinks I called the cops because I knew he was going to propose. Oh, wow. Seriously? He thinks that I don't want to marry him. That's a lot of insecurity. I wonder if it's justified. And that what I did was just a way to make sure that I wouldn't have to. Well, that's kind of silly. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put the chips on the table. I'm going to bet and say that that's silly. Because he was going to surprise you with the marriage proposal. He probably felt embarrassed, humiliated, that you just didn't walk into the house. But shame on him, because he should have understood. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, honey. I think I scared you there with this surprise marriage proposal, right? It's understandable. So far, I don't think she did anything wrong. Let's go ahead and see if she did. Like I said, did she say anything offensive, or did she do something to humiliate him even further? I mean, she didn't describe what happened after. Maybe she will here. We have discussed us getting married exactly once, and that was in our first year of being together. Okay, that's good. You guys got to talk about it. I remember the conversation word for word because it was only a handful of words. I told him to surprise me one day. Oh, the alarm bells go off. They're ringing 360 degrees, just ringing and spinning right here. So, yeah, but I still don't blame you because the door was wide open. You felt scared. Okay? It's still understandable, even though, I mean, you guys talked about it once and you asked them, let's see how deep this surprise description goes, right? Because she knew that he was up to something and he wasn't good at keeping secrets, right? one day if he ever decided to propose to me. So, wow. It was painfully specific that one day he was going to surprise you via a marriage proposal, of all things. But again, I can't blame you because it's an understandable situation. You didn't know when it was going to happen. That's what a surprise is. But regardless, he shouldn't have overreacted. And it shouldn't have been like, oh, 2 months we haven't been good. Nothing's good between us. That's just an overreaction. So I'm still trying to ascertain, okay, who's really at fault here? Or is this just like a conflict of negative emotions, just whirlpooling together, mixing and collaging, just, conflicting with each other, your guys' thoughts and emotions? Because it's all about how you handle things, which we'll talk on in a little bit here. So yeah, she told him to surprise her one day if he ever decided to propose, and which he did. That was the extent of our discussion about marriage. Okay, they only talked about it once. It's been 7 years, remember? I don't know how I was supposed to know that he was going to propose to me 5 weeks ago exactly. From a casual conversation we had about 6 years ago. Exactly. If it is how she says it is, the way she says it happened, then she's not at fault. Clearly the guy he feels a little bit, his pride has been hurt. A little bit of a machismo characteristic there, like, guy, get over it. Okay? Be a gentleman. Look, if this is what awaits her in the marriage, a guy who's that insecure and sensitive, he's probably not good marriage material for you. You need a strong man who's capable to say, sorry, honey, I overreacted. But to allow 2 full months, pretty much, of this, oh, it's not going good between us, then that means your guys' lives sucks. It's very poor. You guys are doing poorly as a relationship, as a couple. Your guys' relationship is regardless of what happened during the bad marriage proposal, we'll just call it that. Things didn't go good. It went bad, right? Wasn't his fault, wasn't your fault. It was just a surprise gone wrong, but he could have salvaged it. I mean, either reheat the food or go to a restaurant, just tell the cops to go kick rocks, right? There's nothing nefarious happening. It was all just a misunderstanding. End of story. Just wipe your guys' hands clean, like nothing happened. Then you guys should have something funny to smile about in the future, right? Let's see how she ends this case, because I got a feeling that she's holding back on the descriptive factors here. The unknown variables. I know I hurt him. Okay, there it is. Like I said before, his pride has been hurt. And I've apologized for doing so. Well, that's excellent. She accepted responsibility over something that she had no control over. That's pretty nice of her. And remember, the way we handle all these cases, whether the guy's at fault, the lady's at fault, or both of them are at fault, we have to always take it as a clean slate. Because we don't know all the other variables. We only have what we have to work with here. So she apologized. It's been 2 months pretty much. And the guy's still upset. That's not good, man. That's not good. He refuses to understand my reason for why I called the cops that day. This isn't rocket science. You should have been proud of your lady for doing that. You should have been proud of her for saying, wow, he should apologize. Sorry, it was a scary surprise. I thought you might have followed through with it, but you should be kind of thankful that she didn't, that she actually thought about her own life. The safety of her own life. Good girl, right? But no, he just has to play that macho card. That's really sad. That's really sad. At this point, I don't encourage them to get married. This guy has some red flags. The lack of emotional availability is a big red flag. Be a man. You gotta have to understand your potential wife. That's what you were ready to propose to her, and you turn your back on her so easily. I'm glad the marriage didn't happen. Look what she would be marrying. Some weak, pathetic guy. But do you know what you're proposing there? You're proposing, hey, honey, I'm interested in spending the rest of my life with you. Well, what a way of proving it. Whether the mission was a success or not in your marriage proposal strategy. Your big surprise. Because from the looks of it, being silent, which is a form of abuse called neglect, to your should have been wife by now, because you want to get all moany and grumpy and groany about it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, at least a child I could accept that from. I could understand that. But from a grown adult ready to get married, you're gonna get into this negative, like, foggy attitude problem. Like, seriously? That's what she's gonna get married to? Some mentally and emotionally weak person who calls himself a man? Nah. If I was her, I would say, you know what? Are you serious about wanting to marry me? Yes or no? Because what happened, happened. You should have gotten over that, and I didn't have to apologize over it. It was clearly a misunderstanding, right? Could have happened to anybody, literally anybody. Alright, so let's see what else happened in this circus with this clown. Okay, so called the cops that day. He went to his parents that night because he was upset. Now, cry me a river, man. So you're going to abandon her, be like, excuse me, honey, I got to go whine and complain. You want some cheese with that wine? To my parents, of all people. I got to go tattletale. I got to tell them how ridiculous. Like, do your parents still control your life? You're about to get married with the supposed woman of your dreams, and you abandon ship just because the surprise didn't go well, and you want to go cry on your parents' shoulders. You see, he's immature, man. He needs to grow up. This is really sad. It's really pathetic. This guy is not marriage material. I thought he was by the way, you know, the start of this case was going, but wow, what an unfortunate turn of events here. He's still grumpy and groaning over this. It's just, wow. Oh, I'm just all melancholy from now and forever. Yeah, you're getting married to a lousy attitude. That's the only thing you got married to. Then came home an hour later because they thought it was hilarious. Wow. You see how you made a bad situation worse. So you went to your parents to go groan and complain about it, and then they just laugh at you. They probably told you, like, what are you even doing? Go back to your should-be wife by now and get over it. They probably told the guy to grow up. They told their son to grow up and just be mature for once. Oh, mom, dad, mommy, daddy, my marriage proposal failed. Cry me an ocean. I mean, just seriously, just cry me a hurricane. It makes no sense. And this is what I'm talking about. These guys don't deserve to be called real men. They're immature males. They're not all grown. Just because a person is such and such age or has a PhD or something, that doesn't equate maturity or intelligence. A person could be smart. They could be capable. But that's a whole different thing when you're talking about intelligence and maturity and wisdom and respect and honor, everything that a real man should be. A man doesn't sit there and complain and make bad situations or unfortunate situations, such as the unsuccessful marriage proposal, worse by running home to mommy and daddy and crying about it. Seriously? You could have just gotten over it right then and there, but you just couldn't do that, right? You know, it's such a failure. He just ended all the opportunity that he had to just quickly fix a situation that didn't go as planned, and then, all right, then we have a great memory together, right? Because in the end, if he was really serious about marrying her, he would have just done it. Whether the cops came over because it was a misunderstanding or not, be a man of your word. You said to yourself you were going to propose to her that night, and you failed because you allowed an unfortunate circumstance to ruin it all. That's your fault, buddy, not hers, not the police. So you want to be all butthurt about it, immature about it? That's whatever, man. To each their own. You are what you create or don't want to create in life. So he went to his parents, and they thought it was hilarious. That's quite some karma right there, I gotta say. Justice prevails, right? Because he deserved to be laughed at. It's not a form of bullying. He did it to himself. He disrespected his bride-to-be by abandoning her and acting like an immature, I don't even want to say child because I got respect for children. At least they have an excuse to be immature. Everyone he tells thinks it's funny. Wow! You see, you could have made a great memory and then everybody would have been proud of you. Oh, wow, dude. So you still followed through even after the police were called and you made it better. And wow, that's a funny success story. It would have been funny and they would have been proud of you. Your parents and everybody that you've told this to. Your friends and colleagues, whatever, siblings, yada yada. The whole world wouldn't be just laughing at you. They would be laughing with you if you would have just done what you set out to do that day. Complete the mission. But you couldn't do that. He is the one telling people, I didn't say anything to anyone. Look how respectful she is. She keeps her private life to herself. She didn't go running home to her mommy and daddy. She respected you, herself, and the relationship. Because I know it upsets him. Look how much kindness and consideration she has for you. And the lack of kindness and consideration you have for yourself, for her, and for the relationship. So pathetic, man. I don't know what else to do. I don't blame you. What else could you do? What else can you do, young lady? He doesn't believe me, and that's his problem. And you know what? Belief comes down to one word: trust. If he can't believe in you, that means he doesn't trust you. And guess what other words comes out? Well, guess what magical word comes out when you dig deeper than belief and trust? He doesn't love you. That's proof right there. If he says, no, I don't believe you, I'm just going to go whine and tell the whole world about what? How you failed to accomplish a simple marriage proposal? Oh, big deal. The cops came. Asked them to politely leave, right? Politely ask them to leave, that everything's under order. This is officers. This was just one big misunderstanding. Honey, that's pretty wild, right? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you, but it's one hell of a surprise, right? And she would have just went along with it. But you just couldn't do that. It's hilarious. No wonder your parents laughed at you. No wonder everybody else thinks it's funny. Because it is funny. Like, what a loser. How did you just make an unfortunate situation that much worse? You know what? It sounds like you have cold feet. I don't think you're serious about marrying her. You know, when you're truly in love with that person that you want to call your future soulmate, your lifelong partner, you don't just give up like that. That's what a loser does. That means that you weren't sure about your marriage proposal. Now were you? That tuxedo doesn't say it all. It's a good start. And the rose petals and the dinner that you cooked. Why did you go through all that? You obviously put all the energy required to surprise her in a very pleasant, surprising way, right? And then so why did you ruin it so it's just so easily? Why did you do it? I mean, just shame on you all across the board. I can't even defend this guy, even if you put me as his lawyer. I'm sorry. I can't defend you. You're going to have to find somebody who's going to lie for you and laugh at the same time, because any lawyer is going to laugh. Doesn't matter if they're trying to defend you, I guess. All right, so that it was a huge misunderstanding. Yeah, he doesn't believe you that it was one big misunderstanding. The rest of the world will, unless you're talking to other immature males out there who, you know, they mope and just groan and complain about, oh, there's no good women these days, blah, 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 blah. The same loser as this guy here. Yeah, those idiots will agree with you, but not everybody else who's mature and respectful and, real men and women. Of course they'll say it's just it's a simple misunderstanding. It wasn't even huge. Am I missing something? No, you're not. You're not missing a thing. You did good. You did a lot of good. You tried. This is not the right guy for you. 7 years down the drain. I'm sorry. It could happen. Did I break trust? No, he did. And he is. Or harm him? No, he is. Not you. In some way that I'm just not getting. Look how innocent she is. And I know she's the one telling the story, but it's as clear as day. He's the one missing everything. And he's choosing. See, it doesn't matter what happened. What matters is now. The future is now. He's choosing to miss out on everything. 2 full months wasted on top of the 7 years together. Of neglecting you and saying, oh, things aren't good between us. I'm going to keep crying to my parents and have everybody in the world laugh at me for what I couldn't do that night. Propose to you. So it's not about her. It's not about the marriage. It's not about your future together. He's missing everything. All right. So that I'm just not getting. How do I approach this so I can fix it? I'm sorry to tell you, you can't fix this. He's the only one who can. And if he's going to be foolishly stubborn to continue being like a pathetic loser, if he's going to... This is not marriage material. If he wants to continue being a pathetic loser and not fix the situation, it's time to abandon ship. Thank goodness you're not married to this loser yet. He could change, but I don't know. I kind of doubt it. That's a lot of maturation to accomplish in such a short time. 2 months have went by and he's still groping about this. He's still moaning. He's complaining about something that almost anybody else, any real man or woman would agree with. Oh my goodness. That was unfortunate, but hey, why did you abandon ship? Why did you run away like a coward and didn't follow through with the marriage proposal? Heck, even if the cops took you to jail, which would have been ridiculous, it doesn't matter. Oh, I spent the night in jail, honey. Okay, then just redo it in a few days. But don't blame your wife for it. What kind of a loser does that? You can't accept responsibility for yourself? At this point, I'm thinking of proposing to him. Oh my goodness! What are you doing? So we can move on from this. You see, now you're being foolish. It's no wonder that you're asking for help because you don't know what to do. You can't let go of this guy. This is how abuse starts, people. It starts on this very low level, a misunderstanding, a fight. And then she's like, well, it wasn't that bad. Stockholm Syndrome. Well, he neglected me for 2 months after this simple misunderstanding. But I still want to marry him. Hey, but, why do you want to get married to somebody like this? He just proved to you that he doesn't care about you at all. We're not even talking about love and commitment. The guy was supposed to propose to you. That's what he wanted to do. He was supposed to do what he said he was going to do, right? Nobody forced him. It was by his own volition, right? And he just ran away. That's like a soldier gets dressed for battle, goes out to the battlefield, and then commits mutiny just like, oh, I'm just going to run the other way. Just goes AWOL, absent without leave. What do you think they do to soldiers who abandon ship like that, right? Abandon the battlefield. Yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to abandon him because he already ran away from you. He's done. This relationship is over. I really hope that you guys don't get married. Unless, like I said, he changes drastically. Like a miracle happens overnight because that's what this case is going to require. A miracle. Oh, wow. I didn't expect this case to be so wild, but that's usually how these cases go. These extreme cases, when they shouldn't even be this extreme. Talking about making a mountain out of a pebble. That's what that guy did. Like it's the end of the world just because, oh, boo-hoo, my marriage proposal didn't go as planned. So I'm going to run to my room and cry? No, this guy ran to his parents and cried about it. Who does that? And who could wake up the next morning and have the nerve to look into the mirror and call himself a man after so much cowardice? And then just groan about it for 2 months after that. I mean, as if she betrayed you, or she didn't even laugh at you. She didn't even tell anybody about it. But you got laughed at from your friends, your family, your colleagues, everybody. You said everyone, right? She kept it a secret, and it's funny because the only person that you get upset about is her, as if she has any culpability, which she doesn't, clearly. I haven't seen one shred of evidence to suggest that she has any type of culpability in the situation. You know, just because something didn't go as planned doesn't mean it has to be the end of the world. In a lifelong relationship, mistakes will happen, along with unfortunate events. A successful lifelong relationship depends on how you choose to handle such unexpected situations. How you choose to handle it. So in this case, a real man would have been like, right there. Not wait till tomorrow or the next or 2 months from. No. Right then and there. Just either laugh it off or comfort. You should have comforted her. You should have hugged her and said, I'm sorry, honey. Looks like I really went over the edge there. I went above and beyond trying to surprise you a little too hard. Maybe I should have called you and said, hey, come on home. I got something for you, right? That would have been the safe choice. Instead of making the place look all suspicious with a wide open door, not answering your phone. Look, I get it. You were trying to surprise her, but surprises don't always go as planned. Hence the word surprise. Sometimes you could be the one getting surprised. The surpriser gets surprised too. Nothing's guaranteed, buddy. And you're just going to go cry about it. Oh, man. I'm speechless right there. And that's why I'm just going to leave that case right there. I said what needs to be said. Judgment for the girlfriend who hopefully doesn't get married to this sad loser. That's my judgment. It's just, wow. He didn't even give me 1 ounce of any kind of good expectations for what's to come. It's probably going to be just a situation that just gets worse and worse from here. So this has been Coach Ben's Case by Case. Much love, everybody.